Welcome to Tools of War, your 40K content headquarters, hosted by Josh and Aaron from Cool Guys Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shrine of Aquila studio. We are on the podcasting, audio only. You don't get to see our pretty faces today, but don't worry, you can always go to YouTube to check out our pretty faces. We're on episode 6 of Tools of War.
Is that for real?
Yeah, that's for real.
I thought we were on 5.
No, we did 4 and 5 for Adepticon.
Sweet. Now it's 6.
Now it's 6. As always, I am with my compadre, my companion, my best friend in the whole world, Josh.
Yes, and I'm with Aaron.
Jerk. What a jerk. Oh, man, that was Jerky McJerkface.
That was pretty funny. How's it going?
Josh made me stop recording so that he could go get his Adepticon first place Arena Rex medal and wear it during this podcast.
That is only half true.
100% true.
I did not make him stop.
He did. He was like, you gotta stop.
No. You did. You're like, I'm thirsty. I need a break immediately.
Well, everybody needs to know that you're wearing your Adepticon medal.
That is actually the true part.
Can we hear it? Not really. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Adepticon first place. Of course, I also won something at Adepticon. I just didn't get a medal for it.
No, you got a nice little paint set.
I got a paint set, but we've already talked about Adepticon.
Yeah.
What else is there to talk about? Well, first of all, don't forget to check out our website, coolguysnation.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter, which is a great idea because I proactively put out a bunch of information like our giveaways and new videos and podcasts, and I do not spam. I only send 1 or 2 newsletters a month, usually just one a month. I'm not even trying to do it like every week. So check it out, coolguysnation.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Also, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. And of course, you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And now that we are done with that, let's talk about some new stuff for the Cool Guys Nation. In the 40K universe, we have a couple armies.
What do we got?
We have Thousand Suns.
Yes.
Which I played my first telephone game with. And you have...
I've got some Eldars.
Smeldar.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. So it is an Ultwith army. Ultwith. I think that's how you say it. Or
Sure.
Ultwith?
Sure.
Yeah. And you have Thousand Suns.
I have Thousand Suns.
Which one's prettier?
The Thousand Suns by far.
I think you're right.
The Thousand Suns are not prettier. The Eldar army is masterfully painted.
Yes, by Will.
Absolutely gorgeous. By Will. It's black and tan. It's got
bone.
Bone. Well, yeah. Bone's a kind of tan, I guess. It's amazing. The Thousand Suns army is painted, but it needs a little bit of love. I gotta do some touch-up work and some washes and some basing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they are new, and I am enjoying the Thousand Suns, even though every time I touch a model, the Emperor burns my hand.
Yep. We just finished your inaugural battle with them.
Yeah, and I chose a great strategy.
You did. I thought it was was perfect.
So you just have to check out the 40K Battle Report, Thousand Suns vs. Necrons, which will be out in a week or 2. It'll be up on the Patreon first, so if you want to get early access to that in an ad-free experience, go ahead and check out our Patreon at Cool Guys Nation. Otherwise, wait for it with ads on YouTube. So it'll be up shortly.
Yeah, and you can check out the Eldar in action right now. We just uploaded the video to
Eldar vs.
Imperial Guard.
Imperial Guard. Mm-hmm. And how'd you like the Eldar?
I liked them. I definitely had some lucky rolls there, and my buddy Dustin, who I played against, did not have some lucky rolls. So it ended
also
up
his first game in a long time.
Yeah, in a long time, and he had a lot of fun, even though his dice did not like him. So
well, that's what happens to me every time we play.
That's
is the
true.
story I go with.
I like it. It's a good story.
You also got a bunch of new Necrons.
Yeah, I've been working on some trades for some Forgebane stuff. I resurrected a salvage op for this Doomsday Arc this week. I got some Wraiths that I converted into Destroyers, and I got some more Wraiths, so that's something I've been missing from my army, so expect to see those on the table soon.
You've been missing Destroyers that were made out of Wraith models?
Well, I've been missing Destroyers, period. So...
Yes, that is all new stuff. And then, of course, we have some more Legion coming in. We got another starter box of Legion.
Yep.
Plus, I got another ATST.
Uh-huh.
and
We got another
Flyer,
speeder.
another speeder. Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the new releases come out soon.
Yes, and those will be really hard to paint.
Why?
I'm joking. It's literally one dude.
Oh, it's one.
Because Veers is coming out on his own, then the Snow Troopers, then Leia, then the Rebel Troopers. Like, they're not coming out at once. So we have
Right,
to
they're
paint, like,
staggered.
one.
I know Veers is going to be. It's going to take forever.
Now, I also painted your ATST. How's it look over there, buddy?
I wish the base was done.
Yeah, you should get on that. But how does it look?
It looks
like
amazing.
That? Yeah, you guys will really like it when you see it on the board.
And it makes robotic noises now every time it moves.
It does. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I'm so excited to walk that on the battlefield. What a giant model that is. We had some drama on the interwebs that I think we should talk about a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about it. Legion drama. What's going on? What happened?
Which drama are you talking about?
Talking about the cork on our bases.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like we covered that pretty well on the...
Well, but there's been some feedback, and there's been...
Yeah.
And somebody wrote an email to Fantasy Flight and got an answer back,
That's true.
which was, be quiet, this is totally fine.
Yeah. Well, that's one interpretation of it. There's other interpretations.
No, I think it's
they
very
need to-
clear-cut.
Well, I would like to see that, but unless it's in an official FAQ, then people can still complain, because then they can go, it's not legitimate, it's an email.
Well, that's true. No,
Yeah.
I hear that, and I appreciate that. But in the full rules online...
In the full rules?
In the full rules
There you go.
online, they specifically define what all the pieces of terrain are
Yeah.
with how it works with cover, which makes it irrelevant what's on your base.
Right.
And then they have one little tiny paragraph that's like, if you're using a custom piece of terrain, here's the rule. But otherwise, it's measured base to base. It's based on whether or not whether something crosses the base.
Yeah.
You just lay a piece of string down center to center. If it crosses the base, you get cover, which has nothing to do with height.
Yeah, and I also think that, before any game, because everyone's going to have custom terrain, basically, just go through with your opponent. Will this give cover to my ATSD?
Or can you land a vehicle on top of this tower that's
Exactly.
in a deployment zone?
And that's true. You can do that. Yeah, so that's the big drama there. It's still not completely resolved. More resolved in my favor than anywhere else.
Absolutely. And the other really good point that was brought up, and actually several people made this point. I'm sorry I don't remember all your usernames, but 2 people on Facebook and 1 person on YouTube point out that the ATST is posable, which dramatically changes its height because you can actually lower it down pretty far and you can raise it up pretty far, which is a big deal. Now you could argue, well, it's already a big model, so what's the difference? But if you squish it all the way down and then you're able to get behind a building where somebody
And then on your turn, you stand it up.
right,
Because it doesn't say you cannot modify miniatures in between rounds.
and it is a posable model.
Yeah.
So I think that they're
That's
not
what
going
many people would
X-wing.
do, by the way.
I think they're not going X-wing,
No.
and you're going to be able to put some fun stuff on your bases.
I hope so, because mine are going to have it. Yours is going to have
We
it.
already have it. Yeah,
right.
It's been done.
Just suck it up.
So more Legion incoming. We got a game in the works that is being edited. We got some more games to play. We have beautiful terrain on the battlefield. Expect more Legion from the Cool Guys Nation. I'm excited about it. Right now, let's move on over to our favorite miniature company in the whole world.
What's that?
I don't know, Josh.
Okay, it's probably Games Workshop.
Yes, it is. Games Workshop.
Let's talk. What do we got coming out? So we're going to talk about something we don't talk about a whole lot lately, but it is becoming interesting for Aaron. He was very excited about this release. What is the release?
Wet Elves.
Wet Elves. The wettest of elves.
Deepkin. Beautiful, beautiful underwater Deepkin models. I love these models. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to open up the new boxes and take a look at the book. I know that some people have already received books early and have probably looked at the rules, and you can look at the rules in your local game store if you haven't. I have not.
Right.
But I have pre-ordered my...
Somebody likes digital books. By the way, respond to this because I hate digital books. Aaron loves digital books. I love the paper version.
So I think that's unfair. It's an unfair statement. I like paper books. I prefer a paper book over a digital book, but I hate carrying around books. And so in the studio, sure, I'd prefer a paper book, but I I like having a copy on my phone and my computer and my tablet, and no matter where I am, if I want to take a look at a book, I can just open it up. Maybe I'm sitting in the airport and I want to think about an army.
Airport?
I travel a lot, actually. Or on an airplane, or going to the bathroom. And so if I'm going to spend $30, I would rather spend $30 on the book. Now, the other feature on the digital book that I like a lot is the search, and that you can push a little icon or the word itself for an item, and it immediately pops up the rules. I do really, really like that. Ideally, I would want a digital paperback book.
A digital paperback?
If they could just invent that faster. I would prefer that.
I prefer the paper in all versions.
But what do you do when you're at the airport and you don't have your book?
I bring my book to the airport.
But what if you are thinking about an army that you didn't even know you were going to think about?
Then I'll just go on the 4chan site and read it. They've got like a breakdown of everything on there. I don't know if it's 4chan. What is it? Reddit? 4chan? It's not the pirated. It's literally they're like, here's all the units. Here's the breakdown of what they do.
I do not get along with Reddit.
It's not Reddit.
Okay, good.
It might be.
I think I have negative karma on Reddit. I'm really bad at Reddit.
I can imagine.
I don't know why.
I can imagine. I do not have negative karma on Reddit.
I have such bad karma.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so a couple of things are coming out for them. I'm going to make you say the names of all of these because...
Of course, because Games Workshop always makes great names.
Yeah.
So here we go. We have the basic troops, which are Nemarti Thralls. Then we have Lotan, Warden of the Soul Ledgers. And
Go ahead.
I'm doing good. Why are you interrupting me?
I didn't interrupt. I took a breath, and you're like...
I thought you were going to make fun of me for a second. And I believe that's the one that's holding the octopus, right?
I have no idea.
He's the octopus guy?
I'm going to interrupt you now. So this name reminds me of an old SNL skit. And if you recall, this is Lothar of the Hill People. And he was always tired from laying with his woman.
That's a problem to have. You know what I mean? That's a good problem.
Yeah.
Gloomtide Shipwreck, we got that
Yep.
incoming. A nice little boat to put on the table. And then...
Yep, say it.
Eidolon Mathlan, Aspect of the Storm. And by the way, Lotan and Eidolon, I believe, are the same kid.
Okay.
And that you have two different
So
variants.
he's immediately Lothar, and then this is Mathland.
Mathland.
Math-
Mathlan.
Mathland. No, I'm going to call them those names. Those are their nicknames now. It's Lothar and Mathland.
Lothar and Mathland. Okay, sounds good. Although Mathland is more complicated than Mathland, but I get it. It's good. Came out with some cool dice. They're clear.
They're the worst dice.
Why?
Because you can't read them. They're probably the worst dice since the Zinch ones.
The Zeech dice are so cool, though, but they're impossible
cool.
to
They're
read.
impossible to read.
I don't think you can't read them. I think they're readable totally fine.
Okay, well, you're wrong. And I challenge you to use those dice against. I'm going to use those dice against you in our next game and see how much you like those dice.
I have an idea.
What?
One of us use the Zeech
Zeech
dice, and
dice?
one of us use the.
I like it. And then we'll just say
dice.
whatever we want.
Yeah, we'll just it's a 6.
It's all 6s.
I'm sure the YouTube viewers will be super happy with that. They also came out with 2 new colors, and one of them is a strange name.
And one of them is just deep skin flesh.
One is deep skin flesh, and one of them is Ironrach. Ironrach.
Yeah, I'm just calling it STD skin.
It does sound like a venereal disease, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's coming out. There's obviously more releases. That's how they, I guess, do things now. They just drip them out a little bit at a time.
Drip, drip, drip.
So it's really, really exciting. I'm going to put those together and
My chair's squeaking. I'm
leave
sorry.
them on Josh's table for painting.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm going to paint something.
I don't.
I'm going to do
When's
it.
the last time you painted something?
The Stormtroopers.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't too far back.
No, it wasn't. Somebody forgot to buy glue, though, at the store last time.
Nope, they did not forget to buy it.
Yes, they did.
They just decided not to.
Nope, somebody forgot.
You're like, I'm going to get this next time. We still have no white paint either.
We do have white paint.
No, we don't.
It's in the Star Wars box in my car.
Then it's not here, it's in your car.
Oh, Josh, you're impossible.
I know.
You're impossible. Let's get back to some 40K talk. Now, for those of you who have seen our video, we put up a What the FAQ for 8th edition for the FAQ and the beta rules, but we're going to go through some of it right here, right now, because there is a lot to talk about, and even more importantly, there is more to argue about. And Josh and I are definitely on opposite sides about some of these rules. In fact, I think Josh is on the opposite side of our entire gaming store based on our conversation last Wednesday at Grognard Games while we were filming our
Did
8th
you
edition
go to the
Battle
same
Report.
store that I went to?
Nobody was on your side.
Yeah, everyone was on my side.
Who? Name a person.
Leif.
Leif was exactly. I have to go.
I have
to go. I'll be right back. I just have to take a breath.
He's actually leaving the room. So the fact that he's forgetting is that Leif was like, I'm on both of your sides. I can see both points of view.
No, that was just him being nice to you. Because he came up to me several times and was like, everybody was coming up to me like, I watched your video on the FAQ and you're totally right, spam is awful, and Josh was definitely taking
Oh,
care
I
of
thought
it.
we were talking about futuristic war and how foot soldiers wouldn't be a part of it.
Oh, no, he also strongly disagreed with you there.
No, he
and you
definitely-
believe that weapons are real that aren't real, so that's okay. Foot soldiers are
There would be no
necessary.
foot soldiers in the future. There would
There
just
will
be
definitely
robotic
be foot
drones.
soldiers because you have to kill people. Yeah, it's all about the killing of people. Like, otherwise you could just play chess and be like, 2 people are going to play chess in the middle of the city and whoever wins gets the city. that would never work.
That's not what
It would absolutely work. Oh, I killed your drones. Who cares? I have 1 million people. Anyways, we're not going into this conversation as to whether there's foot soldiers. We're talking about...
Or neutron bombs.
Or the neutron bombs are not real. They do not exist. They are
should
theoretical.
Google it right now.
All right, let's Google it. Are neutron... while I'm Googling,
While
you
I'm Googling,
talk.
I'll talk. So anyways, so people are upset about spam, and I think spam is a good thing. I do think that perhaps 9 of something is probably too much, but I think 6 is fine. I don't like the 3. The 3 is way too restrictive. It nullifies some army lists that are not abusive. Which is lame. For instance, if you wanted to do like a really cool Wraith army, you're really limited because you're gonna only take 3 of the Wraith Blade, Wraith Guard, whatever. You can only take 3 of the Wraith Lords. Lame. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And he's still looking it up, so we'll keep talking. Other than that, I'm very interested. There is an issue with redeploying units that are already on the board at the start of the turn for first turn, because the new rule says that you have to deploy in your deployment area for coming from reserves. But apparently there's some confusion now on the boards because a GW response came back that you can go ahead and use the jump and things like that because the unit was already on the board and then it can redeploy during the game. So it didn't officially say it can redeploy outside of the deployment zone. It just said it can redeploy.
But the jump is in the psychic phase.
That doesn't matter. The whole thing is it says first turn you can only redeploy into your...
But it gave 2 exceptions on Warhammer Community right off the bat.
Yes, but there were specific exceptions.
Right,
it was Gene Stealer cults.
But I think that those were examples of exceptions, just like it was examples of Brotherhood of Psychers.
Yeah, so what they should have done then is only given 1 example, because 2 examples indicates that they're specific. 1 example would be a general.
I can understand the confusion, but I definitely did not get the impression that... My impression was what they were saying is there are specific units and specific things that break this rule, and we're going to tell you what those are.
Yeah, right, and that's what the problem is.
I would
is that
never
I
have
showed
thought
you.
that something that happens in the psychic phase would affect deployment. That's
Yeah,
well
because
after deployment's done.
The rule states first turn is what it matters.
Right, but you can't leave. But
When you
psychic
deep-
phase is after movement.
Doesn't matter.
Right, but
Deep
you can
strike-
move out of your deployment zone, and so what? You can't
Yeah.
cast a spell.
Deep striking first turn can only be in your deployment zone. That's what the new rule basically
And
says.
the jump is a deep strike.
The jump is a deep strike.
Right.
So that's what the issue was.
Okay.
And so now there's still confusion. People are having arguments about it. It's pretty interesting. The baseline, I mean, the bottom line is that we just don't know what GW wants until they say something. So, yeah,
Well, what
it's
other
fun
what other
times.
units have problems?
There's some Blood Angels stuff on Wings of Fire is another option. There's the one from the Jump, and then there's a few other.
What about
ones.
Act of Faith? Would that matter?
Act of faith isn't a
But you
deep
move,
strike.
and you can move out of
move,
it.
but that doesn't matter. It's a deep strike.
That's true.
That's the thing that matters. So,
Okay, so there are some things that need to be worked out. I guess that makes sense. I still think that drop pods should get drop pod assault again, and they should be able to deep strike normally. That's just my thing.
just because someone heavily invested in drop pods does not mean that you're going to change.
I have
the
11
rule.
of them. I have 11 drop pods.
I
But no, it's not just about investing in drop pods. It's that drop pods literally have no function
Yeah.
because so many things
they
have
can
deep
if they go
strike.
next turn.
Right, but why would you use a drop pod when pretty much everything has deep strike? Exactly.
I don't know. I just shrugged my shoulders. I realized that doesn't help on a podcast.
No, shrugging does not help on a podcast. Okay, so
Well, we're not
spam.
done with that. Oh, we're going to keep talking about spam?
Let's keep talking about spam.
All right.
So I really like the new rules. But I was talking to Sean, and Sean confused me. And so, Josh, clarify something for me. You can take in a 2,000 point game 3 data sheets, right? And you can have 1 unit up to 3 times. Is that per data sheet or per army?
What?
It says that you can take 3 of a unit.
Three
type.
data sheet. Three of the same data sheet.
Right.
And if you can take multiple on that data sheet, that is just one data sheet. So a squadron of Lehman Russes, you can take 1 to 3.
Uh-huh.
That would be one data sheet if you use them in the same squadron.
But what if you... So, what I'm asking is, does it really affect spam?
Completely.
So can you take Lehman Russes in your second data sheet if you took 3 squadrons of Lehman Russes in one data sheet?
So you can take 3 Lehman Russes on one data sheet, and then take 3 Lehman Russes on another data sheet, and your third data sheet can have another 3 Lehman Russes.
Right, so it's 3 units per data sheet.
Only if they can. So the Lehman Russ have specific squadron rules that say there's 0 or 1 to 3. Most vehicles and other things are only 1 per data sheet.
All right, so let's not use the one exception that we have to think about.
Well, you're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, but I don't know why you brought up Lehman Russes. If I want to take Blight Haulers,
Yes, you can take 3 of them max.
no, not per data sheet, per army.
Per 3 data sheets, you can only take 1 Plague Burst Crawler per data sheet because it doesn't allow squadrons. It's only 1 model. It's not a 1 to 3. It's 1 model.
Right, but why can't you take a Vanguard detachment that allows you to take 3?
You could, but then that would be all you could take. It's not 3 per detachment. It's 3 per your entire army.
Okay, well that's what I thought it was when I read it
Yes.
as well. But Sean and a couple other people that I've been talking to interpret it as 3 per data sheet.
You're confusing me again. 3 specific models per every data sheet.
Correct.
No, that is incorrect.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It's only if they can come in squadrons or something like that. Now, the GW did clarify a couple of things. So drones come on lots of, for Tau, come on vehicles.
Right.
They come with troops. They come with elites. They come with fast tech, all this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can buy them individually. Mm-hmm. And GW has said that it only counts for the ones that you buy individually as that unit.
Right, because Chris was pointing out that one of the builds for Tau is now illegal, even though it's in the codex.
Yeah. So basically, all it is drones taking on their own count as a data sheet. So if you take tactical drones, the actual unit tactical drones, that would be 1 data sheet of them.
But a marker drone on your troops, on your fire warriors, doesn't matter.
Right.
Even though it functions as an individual unit.
Correct.
It's on
Because
the
you
battlefield.
bought it on the Fire Warrior data sheet.
Gotcha.
It's actually on the Fire Warrior data sheet.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know, I guess.
Yeah, that really
drones.
helps Tau out because they were going to have a problem.
They were going to have a problem.
They were going to have a problem.
But overall, I'm okay with these rules, I think. I know you're not.
I just don't. I really hate restrictive play, and they're like, "Hey, no restrictions in 40K," and then they're like, "Super restrictions on 40K." That's what it feels like. They went from you can have your army be anything you want. Oh my gosh, this is
Which I was
awesome.
always upset about. I thought that was bad from the very beginning.
God, that was the coolest thing.
Why?
Because you and your side of the argument is like armies have to look like this. They need this.
Armies
this,
have
this,
to be competitive
this.
and make it more difficult to break the rules. It doesn't have to look like that. It needs to be competitive.
But you
and
just said
easier.
earlier that you think you need to have troops. You had to have boots on the ground, and you need to have, and that's what.
You mean earlier? You mean last night?
Yes, last.
Well,
night.
last night I was making the argument that in the real world, in order to take a city, you have to have troops. Troops are a primary function of the army, so troops should also exist in 40K. But the bottom line with a game is that a game should be balanced, and point for point, it should be balanced. And elites and characters and whatnot are super cool, and they have lots of extra abilities, and they are not balanced where 10 points of Space Marines equals 10 points of Mortarion. It just doesn't work that way. And so therefore, being able to drop 4 Mortarions onto the battlefield when somebody else brings 5 units of troops and some Razorbacks. Well, I understand you can't take 4. I'm exaggerating.
There's better things that they could have done. So you could have still taken whatever army you wanted. Let's say every copy of the same data sheet costs 10% more. Something like that.
That's so complicated.
It's not that complicated.
That's too complicated.
Well, I think it's a better thing than only take 3.
But do you feel that this is going to make... Okay, so we played one game since the FAQ came up, and we followed the rules. And how did you like your army?
I specifically built it as a Highlander army.
But did you enjoy it?
I was playing new models, so I just painted this week, so I enjoyed that. I don't think one game building a specific list is enough to, really give us anything. We're going to need to have weeks of play and practice from this.
And you already have armies that spam with troops and transports.
I do. Yeah, my guard army is going to be super... I think they just made guard armies ridiculously strong.
I think that they did as well.
Gun lines, I think, will be really strong. Just because they're going to have so many CPs, you're like, oh, I'm going to re-roll every single phase. I'll get my my CPs back.
I mean, that's a fair point that you brought up, and that is because they raised the battalion and brigade CPs. Pretty much if you're playing Imperium, you might as well take a battalion of guard, which isn't that expensive, and now you get 8 CPs right off the bat.
And I'm going to go on a limb and say no one's going to take brigades now.
Why?
How much is a brigade?
In total points or CP?
In total CPs.
11.
It's 12, actually.
I thought it was 8.
You get 12 now. It was 9, now it's 12.
Okay, so 12 plus 3, so it's 15.
Let's take the extra one out for the army, okay?
12.
So you got 12.
Yeah.
And then how many troops do you need?
6.
And how many characters do you need?
3.
And how much is 2 battalions?
8.
It's 2 battalions would be 10.
No, I'm saying 8 CP for one.
No, battalions are 5.
Oh, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm still adding in the stupid.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. 5, yeah.
5. So for the same, 2...
2 battalions equals a brigade, essentially.
It's 2 CP less, but you don't have to take... You have to take 1 extra character, but you don't have to take any fast attack, any heavy support, and you need to fill those slots in the brigade.
Right.
Or the brigade. You need to fill all the heavy, all the elite, all this fast attack.
Yeah.
So no one's going to take brigades. They're going to take double battalions.
Yep.
You heard it here. That's what's going to happen because it's way cheaper and you can take stuff that you want.
So how much is a brigade of guard? Like the cheapest?
I'm not sure. I think like 700 points.
It's not bad.
No. But 2 battalions is like less than 500.
Yeah, so how much is a battalion? 200, 250?
A battalion of 40 times 3, 120 plus 60, 180. So it'd be less than 400 for 2 brigades or 2 battalions of guard.
With 10 CP, really 13 because you get the additional 3 and whatever else.
And whatever else you take.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and you make your hero, your lord, one of those guys, and so every time you spend a CP on a 5-up, you get it back, and every time your opponent spends a CP on a 5-up, you get an extra.
And you
CP.
Can use those CP even if the rest of your army is Space Marines, Ultramarines. You can still use those CPs for Ultramarines.
Yep. Yeah. So
how many guard do we have?
How many guard do I have? I think they're going to be really good with. I'm still, the custode bike squads. I think they're just going to get bigger. And
Custodes and guard.
Custodes and guard because you can get so many CPs and now the custodes just drink CPs. Imagine just throwing their 3 CPs willy-nilly and then getting them back 1/3 of the time, and yeah, it's gonna be good. So
That's going to be exciting.
yeah, I think that the brigade probably should have went to 14 points.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody play a brigade.
That's because only certain armies can play it. Some armies, they literally cannot play it in 2,000 points. They just don't have enough options. So armies that can do it really well include like Tyranids can do it pretty easily. Tau are really good at doing it. Eldar are pretty good at doing it. Dark Eldar, stuff like that. Guard are really good at doing it. So some armies are really good. Some armies are terrible at it. So I think Tau get like 18-point fast attack slot choices.
Really?
Like the Kroot Hounds is like three of
right.
them for like 18 or something.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, so.
Dark Eldar should be able to do it too, I guess.
Yeah, Dark Eldar, I think, can do it pretty easily, like I said.
But is it worthwhile? Like, have they restricted the spam enough to make it worthwhile to build those lists?
The lists are just going to change. Instead of having spam lists, you're just going to have mountains of people. Like, all the lists are going to have, like, like 2 crappy battalions that are of just garbage, like tax, and then you're going to have the hard-hitting part of your army. That's what I think that you're going to see games devolve into. And games are going to be slowed down by it because you're going to have twice as many people as you had before.
Also, you brought up that since they didn't have restrictions, people have gone out and bought more than 3 of particular models.
Right.
And so now there's probably going to be a lot of stuff on the market, which I guess is good if you're buying, but super frustrating if you had already invested, painted, an army that was based off of running 4 or 5, 6 Demon Princes or whatever, anything that you have more than 3 of that now you just can't do.
Well, Demon Princes you can skate around.
I know there's
stuff,
but they won't all be the Mark of Nurgle. So
I think you could have 9 of them with Mark of Nurgle still.
how?
3 CSM Nurgle marked, 3 Death Guard, and 3 Demon.
Oh,
Pretty sure you can do that. So
because those are different data slates technically.
now the Chaos Space Marine ones will not have the 5-up Feel No Pain though, but you could still take them. Anyways, the one thing that I have to say is that GW is putting their money where their mouth is on this because this is going to hurt them in the pocketbook because people aren't going to need to buy armies in needing spam. The only thing they're going to need to buy is troops.
I suppose that's a fair argument. But if you had a spam army, and now you have to take, you have to add some troops to it. Okay, so let's say you have to add a couple squads of troops. You probably also have to add other elites, fast attacks, and heavies that you may need to buy.
So that might be true for a smaller percentage, but people are just going to flee those armies that they don't have the stuff that they need for and go back to their other armies.
Or buy new armies.
Possibly, I doubt it. Because the metas just flop so much, people are probably going to hang out and not purchase until they see what's shaking out. They'll probably do a lot of play testing.
I haven't seen like a whole bunch of reaction on the trade forums yet.
Oh, I have.
Really?
Yeah, like people just like Death Guard army for sale because they basically neutered every Death Guard army build.
Death Guard was
there.
OP.
It wasn't OP because they weren't winning tournaments.
That's true.
So the one army that is OP, Eldar, are still OP. In fact, they've just made them a little bit more strong because they confirmed you can use the Craft World stratagems on Ynnari models. So
right.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm not complaining. I'm actually excited. It's going to change stuff up. Not necessarily the way I would have done it at all, but you will see different builds. But it's kind of artificial.
We'll see. I mean, it's still beta, and that is one of the things that's really nice, which means you can play it, you can try it, you can submit your comments to GW, and I'm sure they're going to wait for, at least one more major tournament before they put things in full place and kind of see how it pans out.
September.
Yeah.
So
it'll be after Nova.
Yeah.
And we'll just see. And I guess if, the tournament winds up with the same type of lists that are in the top 10 and they don't like that, then maybe they'll go even farther. Or if they see much better diversity and different placings and more interesting and comprehensive lists, then they might put it in place. But we're just going to have to wait and see. I do think that if their sales take a major hit between now and September, that's going to be a big deal. But we'll kind of see how that goes. So if you are in the market for elites,
It's a buyer's.
heavies, it is a buyer's market at the moment because everybody who has more than 3 of something's like, let me get rid of that. Now, last comment on this is I do remember back in 5th edition when we had the force organization chart, and you'd go to the gaming store and people are like, I really wish that I could play my 8,000 points of Space Marines. And they kind of came out with Apocalypse and all these different ways of letting you rebuild your army and play it with your friends so you can do whatever you want. And that eventually evolved into the 8th edition sort of open play in general. And don't forget that GW has still split 8th into 2 halves, which is competitive and non-competitive. And technically for non-competitive, all of these force rules do not count. But I think that's silly because I think that no matter who you're playing, you're going to be playing with the competitive rules because you want a fair, balanced game, and the best way to do that is to use the most strict rules. So I think that they should drop this idea of open play, honestly.
Well, no.
Why no?
Most people probably play open rather than matched.
I think that people are going to follow the beta rules all the time.
That's not true. So a lot of people look where we're in like a special bubble of people that are more competitive. We're more we have our finger on the pulse of like what's happening. But there's so many people that don't really just care. They got their books. They're just going to have fun at their local game store or even in their basement. I don't think that they're going to care. Most home games that I played with my friends, they don't care about the FA. They didn't even know about the new rules. They don't pay attention to when a new FAQ gets dropped. They're still playing with old rules.
Okay.
So.
Well, I could be wrong. Let us know if if most of your games are open play or power level games and you're not using FAQs. Let us know, and also let us know if you've had arguments and wound up having to go to the FAQ in the middle of a game with your friends, and then decided to use the FAQs, because I know that has happened to me.
How's the neutron bomb thing?
The neutron bomb is that we are both wrong and we are both right. So there is a quote-unquote neutron bomb, which is a low-yield nuclear explosion that is still a nuclear explosion, but increases the amount of fallout. And then there is the theoretical neutron bomb, which has no explosion and just irradiates everybody. That is not real.
It's good for plants.
I guess that plants don't like radiation. I mean, they can survive radiation, but they don't like it.
We don't want to go to... This is good.
I'll tell you a new radiation fact that I found out.
What?
So cockroaches
Yes.
can absorb 40 times the radiation of a human being.
Yeah.
But the Japanese wasp can do 8 times more radiation than a cockroach.
Wow.
So really, it's just going to be wasps and cockroaches.
Awesome. Maybe there'll be the Great Wasp Cockroach War of 2951. Oh, by the way, this is very exciting news, guys. I am finally on the last season of Voyager. I've been watching Voyager for like a year and a half now, and I watch it for
only
like
9 seasons, 8
7.
seasons?
There's
Oh
only
my God.
7. But every day I try to watch a little bit, and my wife comes home from work and she's like, "Are you still watching this show?"
Guess what? My wife just started
Oh, Voyager.
Voyager.
Voyager is something my wife would never watch.
She's like on season 2 or 3, and
Yeah.
so
Remember-
I've had to deal with a year of Josh talking about it, and now a year of my wife, I guess, talking about it.
You also lied to me. You said that Neelix gets cooler throughout the show. And I disagree with that. I
think it gets way cooler throughout the show. I thought that Neelix starting in season 3 was way better than Neelix in season 1.
Oh my gosh. He's bad in every season.
You just don't like Neelix.
I don't like Neelix. I don't like a few of the people, so...
This is not Star Trek Voyager talk podcast.
You guys can just shut it off now. We're done with the Warhammer stuff. I'm going to complain about Neelix.
We have just one more thing to talk about, which is next steps for CGN and Fun Time Summertime. Summer is coming, which is very exciting. I don't think that actually affects anything in the studio, but it still makes me very happy.
No, we just have to make sure we have the key.
We do need the key in order to adjust the temperature of the studio. That is very true. It is a shared office space, and apparently they locked us out of the temperature controls, so we have to beg and borrow for the key.
They like to keep it nice and sweaty up here half the time.
So we have the conclusion to the narrative game coming up. We are playing a 3,000 point apocalypse game following open play rules. Don't worry, you can take whatever you want, Josh. I'm patting his knee.
I'm not going to do it.
Why? It's narrative. We can do whatever we want.
I'm just taking one of everything.
One of everything.
I'm just joking.
Okay. We're going to be filming that next week. It's very exciting, the conclusion of that, and then we'll start planning our next narrative game. Of course, we have more Star Wars Legion coming up. We have some new AOS armies. We have the Deepkin, and also I still need to finish some of my dwarves. And
some?
Yeah, some. Half. Half are done.
Half are painted?
Yeah.
Where?
At my house.
Oh, okay. I've never seen these dwarves.
That's true. Because they're on my table.
Okay.
There's the dwarves that are here.
Yes, those are the only ones that I know.
And there's boxes. Anyways, they're half done. So I'm going to get both of those armies done. Of course, we're going to get more Legion stuff done. And there is a surprise for Josh in the trunk of my car that we are going to go take a look at right now.
Oh my gosh.
So until next time.
This is Josh.
And this is Aaron.
Table.
From the Cool Guys Nation, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the table.
Wait, I was supposed to say table.
You already said table. You lost your chance.
Table!